University.
Okay. We had a couple of questions. The video was just in the beginning of the training was very nice, and I was involved in almost every phase. I'm in New Jersey, and I was a rockets professor for the Blueberry Station, and I was a professor of Nanjing Agriculture University too. So every phase I was a part of it. I know all this, and it is good to see the Greenwood do very well and help all the people in all different aspects, especially blueberry and nutrition plus for organic fertilizer. And we are agriculture people, fertilizer is always most important. Any special questions? And we had some questions last time saved.
Yes.
And I'm going to.
Yes, and yes. One of the questions is like this. Greetings, Professor. What is the professional guidance on spraying intervals, especially for maize, from the 2 weeks after germination? The Greenwood brochure states 6 weeks after germination, while from several trainings attended, leaders advise every 2 weeks. So which is correct?
Okay. Every 2 weeks is a general term, general way of apply organic fertilizer. The thing is, when the seedling is too small, it's 4 weeks old. In the first time when we start spraying, it depends on the seedling size. If it's too small, you can spray, but maybe not. You have to make sure the leaf is big enough. If not too big, you cannot get it. And also the corn seeds, it's not tiny. It's not very small. So they have embryo, have nutrients in the embryo, can last for a couple of weeks. So you can spray as soon as you see the seedling leaves come out, or you wait a little bit, let the seedlings leaf a little bit larger, then maybe more efficiency each time you spray the fertilizer. If you have time, you can spray a week after germinate. Then you can every other week, but you don't need to spray too much. The most important, actually, we have some confusion. Some people said, okay, the pamphlet, the little folded guidance said we have how often we spray the fertilizer.
6 weeks after germination.
Yeah, some people think, okay, this is for spray NOP only, not in combination with the conventional NPK or other organic, like a compost, green manure, everything. Actually, all the recommendation for NOPF, we are considered to use integrated methods to scientifically use all the fertilizers, all the ways to help the plants. So the best way we have to do is corn, you have to make sure you have enough base fertilizer, like NPK, conventional one. If I don't think a lot of people are not allowed to use NPK for your corn. The corn is not like vegetables. Vegetables is very restricted use organic. And NOPF is organic, NPK is not. So if you are not, if you are okay to use NPK, you should still think to use NPK or Or is you can, if you don't have any compost, if you don't have any green manure, if you don't have any animal manure, and you don't have any organic fertilizer or organic material as the base, put in the soil before your corn started, put the corn seeds in it, then you should consider to put some NPK. All this, the most important is based on your analysis of your soil. If your soil is very rich, you may don't need much as a base. A lot of African soil actually is not that bad because you have a lot of trees, a lot of coverage. So the soil have a lot of organic material inside. But some large farm, you don't have a lot of cover crops in the past. So soil is not very rich, not very organic. Then because a large farm, you have 300 hectares or even more. This large farm, you have not a lot of options for organic material. Then you may have to use NPK put in the soil as base. Corn or maize, they are short growing crop. They growing very fast in very short time, which means they need a lot of nutrients in very short time. So we need to provide enough. So it's term we put 6 weeks is based on you have a lot of nutrients in the soil before you put the seeds. And then if you didn't have any and it started to germinate, your seedlings, you don't have any nutrients in the soil, or not mean any. Always have nutrients in the soil, just not enough. If you not have enough nutrients in the soil, then you have to consider apply your OPF early. So how early it is, the leaf is feasible. It's enough, big enough to receive your fertilizer. So then you will be never to be too early, as long as the leaf big enough. After that, then you apply. Always keep in mind, NOPF foliar application, we use it as top dressing or side dressing. So it's a combination with your soil treatment. Most people don't think much of the soil. The plants, the most nutrients they need are carbohydrates. When we put a lot of plant material back in the soil, we give a lot of the carbon, to feed carbohydrate sugar or fibers. They are nutrients too, but we don't apply carbon as a fertilizer. But it is important. If we don't have carbon, which means your soil microorganisms, they don't have enough food. We need to give carbon and proteins to the microorganisms in the soil. Then when we feed these organisms, they will actually digest all this organic material and make your soil structure particles much better condition. A good soil particles will have good potential to hold the water, keep the moisture, water inside the particles, and will be slow release. Give the plants a little bit by a little. So plants always have enough moisture. And also, during the digestion system times, they break down all the carbon, proteins, everything into water-soluble nutrients. And these are all good for plants. So we need to feed the microorganisms in the soil. Every time we apply fertilizer or apply organic material, have two purposes. One is give the plants the food directly. The more importantly, we are feeding the microorganisms. So make the soil, we are enriched soil. The best practice is always enrich your soil. You don't want to deplete your soil. You don't just want to use your soil. You make your soil is your friend, your partnership. Long-term sustainable agriculture. This is your land. You don't want to only use this year. You want to use it in the future for many, many generations to come. So that was always keep in mind to improve your soil quality every time. That's also is one of the reasons why we use NOPF. Use NOPF. NOPF is organic fertilizer. Can reduce the amount of use NPK, but it's not mean you totally not use NPK. When we use NPK fertilizer, it's only lasted 100 years. Before that, our ancestors, our old generation people, they didn't have fertilizer. They only have organic material. So it's hard to bring your everything back to only organic. And also the yield, the expectation is very high. In the old time, we don't have a lot of population on the earth. Even low yield, we can feed everyone. But right now, have too many people. We need a high yield. When you apply fertilizer, you can increase the yield maybe by 60%. Or I think I have, but I'm not looking for the slides. The fertilizer application is also have optimum concentration. You don't need to feed them too much. You have the cap. If you feed the plants, the yield will be increased to a point, and if you give them more fertilizer, they will not increase the yield. They will flat out. If we get too much, they will drop it down, actually yield. So conventional fertilizer has a problem is the benefit is with the new industry, we give a lot available nitrogen, phosphate, potassium for plants. This is a large quantity nutrients. Plants can use immediately. Not everything immediately. Nitrogen is water soluble. P and K, in most of the cases, they are not soluble, water soluble. This is also one of the reasons why you put NPK in the soil as the base. Because P and K, most of the conditions, they are not water soluble. You need to put it in the soil, let the microorganism work on it. Let them make it water soluble, but it takes for a long time, at least a month or even longer. That's also sometimes said, PK you put it in the soil, actually the next generation, next growing season, can use the fertilizer you put in soil. It's not immediate. And also depends on water situation. If your soil is too dry and any nutrients in the soil, if with no water, it will become not available. So water supply, this is also one of the most important. So we apply fertilizer to plants. We only apply NPK and amino acids or some trace elements. A lot of people forget to give them can put a consideration of the other more important stuff is the carbon and the water. Also air, oxygen. People say oxygen is everywhere. Why you need to give them? Yeah, if you don't think that, your soil, your plants will lack of oxygen. Why? When the soil is like cement, like dry, and it totally like a piece of like metal, it's not soft at all, the air not going into the soil. That's why we need to improve the soil structure particles. Improve soil particles is not only for the nutrients, it's also give them air and water. So keep the water sustainable, keep the air getting in. This is why you need to agitate, till the soil once in a while. I remember when I was little, the grandparents, they always say, each time you touch the soil, if you don't put any fertilizer, actually you are feeding the plants. What are you feeding the plants? You feed because you make your soil soft. Air can get in, and other nutrients or water can move along. The amount of your fertilizer put in the soil, most of the cases only can be used by 30%. 70% of your fertilizer put in the soil are not to be used by plants. Like you don't have water, you didn't make them water soluble. Nitrogen, if you put too much nitrogen, the nitrogen is water soluble, also they can evaporate. You put the fertilizer on top, if you didn't cover it, they will be evaporated into the air. In the air, we have about 70% of the atmosphere are nitrogen. It's a lot of nitrogen in the air plants just cannot use. One of the contribution is we actually add nitrogen to the air by placing the nitrogen fertilizer on the top of the soil. We wasted our money. We actually make the air even worse. So a lot of things is nutrients are available in the soil. We need to give them water, give them air to make them available. So this is the reason we try to use more organic stuff like NOPF or organic other green manure, animal manure, everything compost. Try to reduce or minimize the conventional NPK. Why conventional NPK is very good? Why you wanted to reduce it? Because they make soil getting worse. NPK basically are salt, SALT. If you put a lot of salt in the soil, your soil quality will going bad, and your soil become more solidified. More soil also become more acid. Some soil they keep it, making your more pH go high. A lot of soil fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, make your soil pH going down. We want like a perfect 5.5 to 6.5 pH level. So if you're a small farm, if we only have a garden, you don't need to do a lot of soil tests, but you need to watch. You just check using your eye, see your soil is soft or not. If you look like it's too hard, your soil, then you need to dig them soil, make your soil, top soil, like 10 to 20 centimeters that deep. You at least need to till the soil several times a year. One important is before you plant, you make your soil, top soil, turn around. So you add, when after you turn around, you put the top of the organic, some leaf or plant residues back into the soil. And also they make your soil open, break to pieces, and air can get in, your water can get in. When the soil is too rigid, when you're raining time, they easily got flooded because this water not going down. They on the top of the surface, they run away. You lost all the water. When you deep top soil, when you get deeper, when it's raining, the water actually go into the soil. They stay there. They don't running away. The good soil can keep the water. When the raining time, we don't get flooded. So it's make your topsoil deep. This is one of the important things we need to do. So if we use an OPF, we will reduce NPK use, but it's not said I'm not going to NPK. No, you still need NPK put in the base if your soil nutrients is not good enough. So always have to put all this together. So then we back to the corn for 6 weeks or earlier. It depends on your situation. 6 weeks, we don't want to spray an OPF too much. When you got too much, it's not good either. Fertilizer is, we just said, fertilizer have a curve going up and flat, and if you got too much, you don't increase yield that much. But you have to have scientific data to support it. This is just the way of your thinking. The theory is not necessarily apply to everyone. So you need to watch. Also, if you have some people don't look at your soil, or you become agriculture specialist. That's what we're training for. We always try to teach or discuss how to scientifically farming. And you understand all, then you apply them, you save money, you maximize your investment. Every dollar put in, you need to come back and get more than $1. If less than $1, then you do not, you're not break even. The cost benefits have to be benefited more than cost. Otherwise, you don't do it. So this is about the corn frequency. You can keep spraying after the seedling is big enough, and then you keep spraying until you see the silk of the corn air come out. This is the time you stop. And sometimes they say, I sprayed NOPF, why it become corn leaves still yellow? That's very strange. It's a lot of potential problem. Hypothetically, when you spray NOPF, this is a nitrogen. We say nitrogen. It's not total nitrogen. It's amino acids and the trace elements. But amino acids, each amino acids have nitrogen component inside. That's why we can say, oh, this is a nitrogen kind of fertilizer, not totally nitrogen, because we provide amino acids as a building block of the proteins. And also, these amino acids can be used as plant hormones, can stimulate plant growth. That's why you don't use a lot, but you generate a lot of benefits. If you use a chemical fertilizer, you need a lot to reach the same result, because we are used as stimulate. One is if you provide amino acids as a building block, you save plants a lot. It saves plants a lot of time to synthesize the proteins, because protein is like the chain of the amino acids. If we are feeding them directly for the amino acids, then plants don't have to start from the photosynthesis, from nitrogen, from the carbon, from sugar, to do a lot of procedure to reach the point, make the amino acids, and amino acids put it into assembly line, make the protein. So save a huge chunk of time. What you mean also save a lot of ATP, a lot of energy, a lot of other nutrients. So you put a little bit, you get very large benefits. And also we have NOPF as a stimulant. So they don't only provide nutrients. Actually, when the amino acid NOPF in the plants find, oh, I need to do something because I have a signal here. They provide the plant need a good growth signal. Like we take some hormones for the kids. Sometimes we need some kids need hormones to make you grow faster, grow stronger. So the plants, when you see the amino acids come in, said, okay, I'm ready to do more job. So this is also the amino acids can, when you have a lot of stuff, can help plants to compensate. When the plants got attacked or injured or damaged by some foreign stuff like insects, like plant diseases, like physical damage. So when you have, NOPF sprayed, and the plants can recover much faster. Like we got sick. If a human got sick, one is you deal with your diseases, bacteria or virus. Another thing is you need to make sure your nutrients to catch up. Then you actually grow out from the disease impact. Especially for plants, if anything here, if this leaf got damaged by insects or by fungi, and you apply the NOPF, the other parts of plants, they generate a lot of new leaves immediately. So they compensate what you lost by the attack. Also, they may help you to heal. If this leaf got chewed by the insects, the plants get the amino acids, get the NOPF, can heal the damage faster. So they recover much faster by healing, by providing a lot of nutrients. So this is all the things we try to help the plants get the best condition. And also we last time some people we have, let me see, yeah, let me see. Okay, hold on a second. If I see something. Oh, I don't have a let's talk about that. For some people say, how do we apply NOPF for the dripping system? In most cases, our NOPF is good for foliar application. But some plants or some farm, this is equivalent by the dripping system instead of the foliar application. When they apply into soil, you have to be considered, you don't want to waste anything. You don't want to spray that like that to the soil. Or you don't care much. You just a large scale put in the soil. That is not the best way to apply the NOPF. We want, because NOPF is a low volume, and we need every drop of NOPF make them work. But we need to get either in the drop system, or you need to put in the covered by soil. Let's talk about first about the drop system. The dropping system is, I'm in Arizona, US right now for the business trip. I'll be back to New Jersey, New York for next Saturday. I've been here 5 weeks already. Here is so dry, no rain. Everything is so dry. You cannot water the plants. Only limited plants, they use the dropping system. So this is all the, I'm sorry. Let's watch this. Once again, see, use this is sorry. Okay, let me hold a second. You guys can raise questions. I can listen. And him calm down. Any questions?
The questions in the chat box. The first one says, "What's the science behind the discontinuity of an OPF upon silk emergence in corn?"
Can you say again?
What's the science behind the discontinuity of an OPF upon silk emergence in corn?
Let me see. I'm not sure. Let me see the question. oh, oh. When you see the silk, little hair on the corn, it says you have 18 days. You can eat the sweet corn. So it's almost ready. When you see the silk, the plants right now, they are ready to move all the nutrients from leaves to the corn seeds. They don't need the end of the life cycle. When we apply any fertilizer, you don't want to apply to the end of the life cycle. You only apply, especially for the nitrogen, amino acids. We are feeding the plants to provide the nutrients for plants to grow leaves, vegetative, leaves, stems, everything. Why plants need leaves? They need, if you harvest the leaf like a pachoy, like a lot of vegetables, you actually eating or harvesting the leaves. What that means, you can just take the leaves out. But for the corn, we are not eating the leaves. We are eating the seeds. So seeds, the nutrients, we are not apply the nutrients to the seeds. We apply the nutrients to the leaf. Make the leaf larger, darker, green, for stem very tall, huge, good plants. And for the season, when you see the silk come in, the whole plant said, okay, now I'm doing the last work. I'm going to move all the nutrients from leaf to the seeds. We don't need to grow more leaves anymore. We only need to move all the nutrients from leaf to the seeds. So that's why we need to stop. Apply the fertilizer, any fertilizer. We don't need to give them anymore. Also, this is the thing that we stop. Also, the plants, when you apply fertilizer, and no PF take 2 or 3 days or 1 or 2 days, plants can absorb. For the NPK, for other fertilizer, take 1 or 2 weeks. If that time you put more fertilizer in the soil for NPK in the soil, the plants are almost dying. They already leaves coming all dry out. So you don't need to do any crop. You don't apply any fertilizer to the end of the life cycle. Is it clear? Let me see other question. Or I make it bigger. How often can I NPL use when harvesting okra? Okra is different. Okra is you keep picking your okra. If you have to pick okra very fast. You don't pick okra fast, next day you dry or they will be too old. So you can apply your NPK and NOPF every other week during the flowering season until you think, okay, almost done. The okra is already 2 meters tall, and you don't. When the same thing we can tell from the corn, when the leaf started wilting, started move all the nutrients to the seeds. Only the young leaves, the new leaves can take nutrients. The old leaves, they don't take the nutrients. They only move the nutrients away from leaf to the target place, like seeds. For the okra, it's same thing. You don't spray any fertilizer to the old leaves. You can only spray in the new leaves, young leaves. When you have a lot of young leaves, you're picking okra, you still can spray all the time, every other week. But you think it's almost the end. You're not new, not too much more flowers coming in. You should stop. How often can I use on green peppers plants? Peppers like okra. So you can keep peppers. I have pepper plants for several years. The wintertime, actually, I dig them out, put in a pot, take it back at home, and I still have a lot of flowers. The peppers can be many years, but most of the farmers in not Africa, in my place, the wintertime all die. So I started putting new seeds, generate new seedlings in January. And now it's end of January. I'm not at home, so I cannot make any new seedlings. The pepper seedlings take forever to get larger. So it's worth to dig some. I have like 4 plants, put in the pots, take it home. So the whole winter time they still alive. And as soon as we only can move the plants out on May 15, May 10th. So have another 3 months, we cannot take any plants out. It can be killed by cold weather. So pepper, you can apply your NOPF all the time, every other week, until you don't want to harvest anymore. Also, you need to watch the plants. You don't need to apply too much. If the leaf is too much, and you don't see the flowers, that's not a good thing. You need to let them balance. You need a leaf, flower, fruits, everything. You don't want to only have leaves. The purpose, like a cotton. I'm so happy I saw cotton field near my hotel. I haven't seen cotton field for 50 years. I saw it, I was almost crying, so happy. The cotton, you can keep flowering, you can keep floating. If you keep too much, if you have winter coming, then you should stop enough early. Otherwise, you generate a lot of new fruits, they are not be able to open, not able to harvest your cotton. For the Africa, you don't have that issue. So you can, the pepper, okra, you can keep a spray until you think, I'm going to stop in next month, I'm not doing. I have heard that no rains in some parts in South Africa. Can I continue spray NPF my corn in the required cycle when they have no rains? The spray NPF is only thing you need to concern about the rain is rain may wash them off. You can use any fertilizer to corn all the time, except you make sure you don't spray NOPF during the daytime. You need to get it, if it's hot, either early morning or late afternoon. The science behind that is when you spray fertilizer on the leaf, you need to give them enough time to migrate the nutrients into the plant openings. If it's too hot, you spray they dry immediately. All the water is gone. Then your nutrients solution, you spray on the leaf, they dry immediately. The nutrients not be able to swim or suck by the plants into the plants. It will dry out, become powder, and the wind blow away. You lost all your spray. So you don't spray when it's hot. Don't spray in the middle of the day because they dry too fast. And also, so when you spray in the early morning, and you can extend the time they stay in the water solution. The film of the water, they stay on the plants for a while, and the plants can suck them in. You can apply continuous spray NLPF in your corn all the time. If NLPF is absorbed within an hour of application, then increase it rains heavily on the second hour of the application. It is necessary to apply NLPF, reapply NLPF. Let's see, okay. That's a very good question. Can you see this is my slide? Actually, I prepared this one recently.
Yes, we can see the slide.
If rain after spray, what do we do? Okay, I moved from one computer to another computer, and the slide is not working well. Okay, they needed about 2 hours to complete your nutrients get into the plants. So if immediately raining, I have let me don't talk too much on that, but let me see that this one. So if you sprayed and immediately heavy rain, you will be all gone. So you need to think about it. I maybe spray again next day. If after 2 hours, I wouldn't worry about it. The plants. So you think, how do you think about the timing? When you spray on the leaf, you have create a film water solution on the plants, on the leaf surface. So you think about how long will dry out. This is time, the safety. If you dry faster, then rain washes them away. They're already inside the plants. But if we dry too fast, nutrients didn't move. That's why we want to extend the water soluble status for a longer time, and they can move in. So if for 2 hours raining, don't worry about it. If immediately raining, then you think about it. But you have to make it. Try to avoid. You don't want to get that. I'm not encourage you to do add a lot of stick agent. This is a lot of work. I did it before, but for something else, like when I spray Pavelia bassiana, then one for the fungi. Use the fungi to control insects. The fungi, we are not spraying the water-soluble solution. We actually spray the spores. The fungi itself, the spores like a granule. You can see the white powder. So if you spray on the plant's leaf, they may drop off, or wind will blow them away. Then we need to apply. What I use is 20 or 20. I use both of these. So add into the my Bovella bassiana fungi spores and make them stick on the plants. So when we spray on the plants, they stick on the plants. So then wind will not blow them away. Then they can move into the insects. We're spray not for the plants nutrients, it's for the insects. When we spray, then the insects on the plants. So when you spray onto the plants, actually spray onto the insects. And because we added stick or some agent, and the fungi spore will be stick on the inside surface, and they will germinate and put the spore like a grain of rice, and it will like a seed of the like a sesame seeds. They germinate and the roots come in the hyphae. The fungi, the silk and stuff, the hyphae will go to penetrate for insect cuticle into the insects. So that what is use the super spreading or stick agent. For the NOPF, I think is one of the best ways to watch your weather system. Make sure you spray you're not right immediately will be raining. So also in the early morning, you have less likely have storm immediately follow you. That's also why we spray in the early morning or late afternoon. Is one is try to avoid the dry, second is avoid the raining. I'm not sure how the raining system in Africa, but normally, scientifically, in the early morning or late afternoon, you have less likely raining. Also, the wind is much calm down. And I did a fumigation. I did many years fumigation for the very tall trees, very tall plants. When we do fumigation, if we have to avoid wind. If the wind is too much, the smoke come out, it will blow away. You lost everything. So we try that. We do early in 5 o'clock in the morning. That time air is like not moving. So if you spray, if we fumigation, it generates all smoke. You actually come up a little bit to the, you stay in the canopy. They don't move. That thing is applied to your NOPF2. In the early morning, your air don't move that much. You spray on the leaf, they stay on the leaf. Not on the leaf, not only on the leaf. Actually, you spray is not only spray to the leaf, you also spray a lot in the air. And they stay there. They stay around in your leaf. Then they actually, when they dry the plants, the NOPF concentration will always move to the low place. So when the NOPF spray on the leaf, the plants take it. So the concentration on the leaf, near the leaf, will be lower than the surrounding air. When the plants suck up all the nutrients on the leaf, and the surrounding NOPF will come to the leaf. So you are benefited for a lot from you when the air not move that much. So when is the air not move much? It's in the early morning. And also as soon as if you can see it, you see the sunlight and you can do much earlier. So have a lot of benefits. Avoid dry fast, avoid air movements, avoid raining. So you need to do the early time. If we do the lunch time, it dry very fast, it become powder. You waste it all. And also, not only NOPF, if we spray any pesticides, if we spray, sometimes actually some people spray nitrogen, chemical fertilizer. When you spray chemical fertilizer, if you spray the lunchtime, the hot time, you may got a leaf burn. The plant leaf got dry so fast. The water be gone in a couple of minutes. Then all the salt, they didn't move into the plants, but all the concentrated, become very concentrated. When they become very concentrated, the leaf, the water inside the leaf will become out to the high concentration place, to the outside of the leaf. Then your tissue cell, they dry out. That's the leaf burning coming from. Leaf burning, the signs of leaf burning is the water movement. The water always move to the high concentration from lower concentration. So that's also is a science. How do you make your spray solution? You never make spray solution high concentration higher than your plants. If we put if we too high concentration outside the leaf, then the plant, the water in the plant cell will move out, and plant leaf will dry. Then you see the burning sign. Basically, the dry out is like you started a fire on it. So this is a try to use that. So let's see this again. See if you apply or not. If you only you spray an OPF, you heavy rain in an hour, you need to think, okay, I lost everything. And if 1 to 2 hours, or maybe I wouldn't reply again. I maybe if I should have waited 2 weeks spray next time, but if it's rain after I spray in 2 hours, less than 2 hours, I may don't wait for 2 weeks. I may wait for a week. I change the schedule, move a week early. Don't need to repeat it immediately for another spray. If already dry, if already waited for 2 hours, and I don't worry about it. I just wait for next spray in 2 weeks. You don't need spray too many times each growing season. For the multi-year crop, we'll apply them maybe monthly, once a month each growing season. For the shorter growing like corn, we spray every other week or every 3 weeks. It depends how we are talking is for the internationally training, and every place the growing season is different. For the corn in my hometown, we see the silk. You can get a sweet corn in 18 days. They see in my hometown, the temperature, everything. So you think, okay, waiting for 18 days, you will have sweet corn. That's my grandparents tell me. Okay, if we want a sweet corn, you will see the silk come out, 18 days, you come to the field, you can pick it. But other place, maybe earlier, maybe 15 days, maybe some places are 20 days. So you need to adjust. Like you first time you spray the fungicide, or no, spray the NOPF on the corn. You need to see the plant size. You need to see the leaf size. If too small, you can wait. You need to be large. You have the kind of a common sense. Okay, this is large enough. I can spray, actually can plants big enough get your nutrients. Otherwise, you waste. So it all depends on you. You need to adjust each location. We cover internationally, we have 69 countries. So I'm talking 69 countries, all the continent. So everywhere is different. But the science is some basic principle you can apply. Or the other question? Can such fertilizer affect the soil productivity after being obvious? Okay, that's a good question. If you apply a lot, if you dump the concentrated NLP in the soil, you may increase soil organic material some degree. So direct effect of the NLPF into soil is not much because the amount is like a drop of the sea. Not enough change the soil organic structure. But when we spray NOPF on the plants, we will reduce the NPK usage because we use the organic NOPF on the leaf. We use much less or even don't use NPK anymore because NPK have damage on the soil. So because we use NOPF, you actually you help the soil to get more organic, to recover to the normal situation. So the benefits to the soil when you use NOPF is to reduce your NPK usage. So it's very useful, help the soil, but not like okay, I'm going to pour a whole my bottle of NOPF into the soil. That's a waste. That's too expensive. You can do it, but it's not the economic way. Thank you so much. You guys have a great weekend. For any question, we can discuss next time.
Okay, so thank you very much, Professor Zhang, for your answers and explanation. So as for other questions, I will collect it and we will discuss next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that's all for
today.
today.
Thank you, sir. That was really great.
I didn't hear what other people say.
I said, thank you, sir. That was excellent. It taught me a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to can help everyone to understand more agriculture. So this is good for. I've been teaching agriculture whole entire life. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. So that's all for today. We'll see you next time. Happy weekend. Bye, Professor Zhang.
Happy weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Professor, for the presentation. We really benefit from it.
Thank you.